Hello and welcome to episode number 102 of the TEW 2020 Challenge Run. Believe it or not, this is actually quite a milestone episode here today for me personally because, well, this save started in the day after Mania, April week 1, 2020, which I started in July, I believe, of real time. So I've been behind real WWE for months. However, this is the first episode of the whole series that we've caught up and we're actually going to be in the future because this episode of SmackDown hasn't happened in real life yet. So that's nice. We're now actually ahead of real life. And we continue we start the 3-week build to, it's either called No Way Out or Elimination Chamber. I believe it's called No Way Out. No Way Out, yeah. Without any further ado, let's jump straight into the show.
Close your eyes, surrender your beliefs to them for holding. Wait patiently to hear whatever changing minds are showing. The week will come. All I wanted was violence to put the chains and divide us. It's all the worst that's inside us.
We open SmackDown in a very bizarre. Malcolm Bivens is in the office waiting for Adam Pearce to arrive. He says, "We've got a hell of a show lined up for you, ladies and gentlemen." And one night it was the Royal Rumble, SmackDown's own Bianca Belair winning the Women's Royal Rumble match. Now has a chance to face the champion of her choosing at WrestleMania. And also we're going to start some not Royal Rumble qualifiers, Elimination Chamber qualifiers tonight. When all of a sudden, the door flies open and he expects to see Adam Pearce. But it's not Adam Pearce, it's Keith Lee. And Keith just comes in absolutely fuming. And he just comes straight and he grabs Bivens by the neck. And he's like, "You saw what happened at the Rumble, right? I won that match. This is bull." He'd actually say bullshit, but actually let him say the word bullshit on telly. This is bullshit. I had that match won, but then John Cena, who was laying outside like a coward all match, kicked me in the balls and stole my spot. I should be the number one contender for the Universal title right now. I should be going at WrestleMania. And Bivens is like, "Okay, but I mean, he didn't break any rules. I understand that you're frustrated, but it's not my fault, Keith. Please put me down, and etc." And then Sami Zayn would come. He's like, Keith, come in. Just calm. He's not worth it. It's not his fault. I understand you're frustrated by what John Cena did, but Bivens didn't make the rules for the Royal Rumble match, and he may be a annoying little pencil-necked geek, but there's no point taking out on him because that's only going to get you fired or suspended or fined. So, and like he realizes Sami's making sense. Then AJ Styles walks in with Omos behind him. He's like, "You want to talk about annoying pencil-necked geeks, you little annoying pencil-necked geek? Well, I've come here to bestow upon Bivens my presence to be the first person to qualify for the men's Elimination Chamber match, which will be a number one contenders match." As you know, AJ Styles probably getting ahead of himself here because Pearce hasn't come in yet. That's when Adam Pearce comes in. When AJ's arguing with Sami and Keith, Omos is just there. AJ would probably be behind Omos shouting at him. Then Adam Pearce would walk in. He'd go, enough. Right, Keith, we'll deal with you first. I understand your frustration. I get it. You feel hard done by, and I totally agree with you, but rules were rules. John Cena did win that match. However, to make it up to you, I will put you in the Elimination Chamber in 3 weeks' time. And you won't have to qualify. You can just, by proxy of being the runner-up and sort of winner, you get a free spot in that chamber match to go to WrestleMania and become Universal Champion. AJ Styles throws his hands up in the air. It's like, "This is bullcrap. You're showing your favoritism again, Pearce. I should be getting that spot." And Pearce is like, "Why? What have you done to deserve that, AJ? I mean, I'll give you the chance to earn one tonight." And he's like, "Great, who's against who?" And he's like, a certain annoying pencil-neck geek, not too far away from you. Obviously being Sami Zayn, not Bivens. He's like, you know what, Pearce? I don't like the way you're talking to me. Bivens, he's doing a much better job than you are this whole GM thing. But I'm going to overcome it. I'm going to beat Sami tonight, and I'm going to go to Elimination Chamber, and I'm going to become the number one contender because this is still the house that AJ Styles built, etc. And Sami is in there. He's like, for the record, Pierce, I think you're doing a great job. And pats him on the back and smiles as he leaves. And Keith Lee just sort of still lingering around, heavily breathing like an angry gorilla. And Bivens is shit scared of him, and then Keith Lee leaves because he's got into the Elimination Chamber. So a very hot open in the GM's office here tonight. Speaking of Chamber qualifying matches, that was not the result that I put in. Ignore everything you see there. That's more like it. Braun Strowman beats Rey Mysterio with a power slam to qualify for the Elimination Chamber. 81 for Braun, 69 for Rey. Did I actually put Rey to win? Apparently I did, but I definitely didn't mean to. Braun wins, and Braun is going to join Keith Lee in the Elimination Chamber. Two old rivals back at it yet again. Then interviewing Gorilla after the advert break from Apollo Crews. And he's talking about how he's had 6 days to think about one awful weekend he had. He didn't qualify for the Royal Rumble, and he lost his US title at Smackville the night before to Chad Gable, and he's tired of playing games. He needs to get that title back, so he's going to issue a rematch to Chad Gable at No Way Out for the United States Championship, and he's going to get his core career back on track. This was merely a blip on the radar, and Apollo Crews will still be rising to the top. And then he walks out for his match with Lindsay Dorado, gets a 59 because there's no storyline involvement, that's fine, and it's storytelling. Didn't really expect to do too good. But Apollo beats Lindsay in 7:21 with a standing moonsault. Apollo Crews gets a 69, nice, and Lindsay gets a 58. Sasha Banks is in the ring with her SmackDown Women's title flanked by Indy Hartwell and by Mickie James. And she says that she did it, she fooled all of you, and she even fooled Ember Moon. See, Mickie, she knew that Mickie James is still the legend that she was. And she just needed a pep talk to sort of bring that legend out of her. And well, at the Royal Rumble, as you can see, Sasha's words, they got through to Mickie, and now here she stands, built on her own self-success. Boss, B-O-S-S, that's the name of this faction. But we'd write it with little dollar signs as the S's. And now the legit boss and her entourage, I guess, her cohorts, her colleagues, her underlings, apprentices. Well, one's an apprentice, one's sort of like a senior. They're going all the way to WrestleMania with that women's title. That's when Ember Moon storms the ring, and she's like, Mickie, I can't believe I trusted you. This whole time you were like an inspiration to me. You mentored me. You told me everything I could improve on in this business, and now you've turned your back on everyone. For what? What exactly are you accomplishing here? How are you built on your own success if you're sitting behind Sasha and Indy? And quite frankly, I've had enough of this shit. You're not getting to WrestleMania, Sasha, because I'm going to beat Mickie James right now, and I'm going to get revenge for her costing me my women's title. And then next week, I want you inside a steel cage for the women's title. No interference from Mickie James, no interference from Indy Hartwell, just me and you locked in a cage. Sasha's like, okay, well, sure. You've got to be a legend in this business like Mickie James before you can get to me, sis. So, how about you focus on that first? And she does. 67. Ember Moon defeats Mickie James with the Eclipse in 9:15. 63 for Ember, 50 for Mickie. And yeah, Ember Moon now gets her match next week. I'm probably going to put it in the main event. It will be Ember Moon and Sasha Banks one last time for the SmackDown Women's title inside a steel cage. Would have saved it for No Way Out, but you can't hang a steel cage and an elimination chamber above the ring at the same time. So, and plus, we'll get to it later on, but whoever wins that match next week is defending in the elimination chamber. So, it wouldn't have made any sense to them anyway. Rey Mysterio and Dominik Mysterio. Dominik's comforting his son in the medical room because no matter what the game is trying to tell you, he did lose to Braun Strowman. He's like, Dad, this was we were just gelling as a team. I got a singles win over Tucker a couple of weeks ago. And I think we're getting there. You just couldn't handle the monster among men tonight because he's like twice your size. And there's nothing to sharp on. We're still family, and family sticks together. Family is thicker than anything in this life, Dad, and you're still gonna do it, and you're an inspiration to me. And Ray's like, oh, thank you, son. This is the minor setback. I will become, if I don't become the Universal Champion, me and you, we will become the Tag Team Champions. And just what so happened to hear that was the Usos are like, nah, Us, you talking about family, Us. You're saying there's no one's closer than a brother and his dad. Let me tell you something, Us. Me and Jimmy, we literally been together in the womb, Us. So you don't get close, you don't need to talk to us about family, Us. And if you keep racking up your wins, if you keep gelling as a tag team, Us, then maybe you can hang with us, Us, and it'll be family versus family, tag team greats versus tag team greats. But at the moment now, Us, I can't say you're really there, but the door's always open, Us, if you ever get better at this tag team shtick, Us. We're always welcome to defend against other families, Us. Us, Us. And then they leave. Here's a segment. Pierce and Bivens are in their office when Nikki Cross walks in. And she says, you know, it hasn't been really great for me recently. I lost to Alexa and I failed in the Royal Rumble. But all I'm asking for is one opportunity. One opportunity to break out, I guess. And they're like, well, it's a good job you actually came here, Nikki, because we were actually going to invite you in here because we actually do have a proposition for you. We also watched the Royal Rumble match last night, or Sunday, and there was a woman in that match that really impressed me and Bivens. And then in walks Kaylee Ray. And they're like, well, we decided that since Kaylee Ray had lost the NXT UK title, NXT were making a play to get her on their roster, but we thought, now we could use Kaylee Ray, and we signed her up to a SmackDown contract on one prerequisite, and that is that she would get a tag team title shot, not a SmackDown Women's title shot because that's obviously the world title, and nobody gets a world title shot in their first match, barring, the current Universal Champion. So it's going to be a tag team shot, and she said, brilliant, I'll tag with my fellow Scot, Nikki Cross. And Nikki's like, well, of course I'll be happy to do that, so when's the match? He said, it depends, we're thinking maybe at No Way Out if Candice and Ruby aren't busy. Like, well, you've got to be absolutely joking me, Peyton, look at this. In walk the Iconics. Like, we've been overlooked for so long, mate. We were the second ever Women's Tag Team Champions, we won them at WrestleMania, and now two girls that haven't even teamed together in their life getting opportunities before us. And Billy Kay's like, well, I lasted longer in the Royal Rumble match than both of them. So, if anything, you should be offering me and Peyton a tag team title match, mate. And Pierce is like, well, you want an elusive signing. And then Kaylee Ray sort of hushes Pierce up and she's like, I'm more than happy to earn my title shot. Me and Nikki will beat you two tonight and then we'll prove that we're going to get that shot. Is that match next? I don't think it is. Nope, this match is next. A match I could have sworn I had done a million times. Apparently I've never booked it because it was the Usos I was thinking of that had wrestled Rudolph a million times. Street Profits defeat Dolph Ziggler and Robert Roode when Montez Ford pins Bobby Roode with a frog splash. 59 for Dawkins, 64 for Ford, 72 for Roode, and a 75 for Ziggler. After the match, Profits got a promo. They're like, well, Dawkins, would you look at that, the Usos are here. And they're talking about Dominik and Ray as the number one contenders. Dawkins like, nah, fam. As they said, they ain't quite ready yet, fam. So you said you want to do this tag team great versus tag team great, fam. We may not be physically blood related, but me and Tez, we are family. And we are definitely tag team greats. And so if you want actual challenges for No Way Out, fam, stop playing with the kids and their dads and come and catch this smoke, fam. 53. They don't have negative chemistry, so that's always a good sign. But of course, Kaylee Ray and Nikki Cross do win. They beat the Iconics. Kaylee Ray pins Billy Kay with the reverse code red. And she was the weakest link of her 34, 51 for Nikki, 54 for Peyton, and a 51 for Billie Kay, mate. World's best colour commentator, Billie Kay. So good, even the WWE really stole that fucking idea from me, mate. It's so cool. I'm not salty, but it's so Billie Kay's here, mate. We then get cut to backstage, and Kayla has an exclusive interview with the Women's Royal Rumble match winner, Bianca Belair. And she walks in, and she's like, "Hey, Bianca, you've had 5 days to think and sort of dwell on it. How are you feeling after winning the Royal Rumble?" And she's like, "Well, I'm over the moon, obviously. But I've told you since day one that I was the roughest, the toughest, the smartest, the quickest, the best. And at WrestleMania, I'm putting the EST in WrestleMania when I challenge the SmackDown Women's Champion. So there's your big scoop." Kayla's like, "So you're going to challenge the winner of Sasha Banks versus Ember Moon? But hey, I'm actually glad I've got you here, Sasha. Oh, not Sasha, Bianca, because this is some breaking news." And then she turns to like the screen in the interview room. And she says, obviously, next week, the SmackDown Women's title will be defended inside a steel cage. And whoever wins that match will have the other woman out of their hair for a while, because they're all defending the Elimination Chamber too well, it'll be 9 days after that. And this is the match, and she puts the graphic up. So it says Sasha in there, but obviously that could be Ember Moon, Bayley, Shayna Baszler, Dakota Kai, Mandy Rose, and Alexa Bliss. And, well, so the winner of that match, Bianca, will be your opponent for WrestleMania. Do you have anyone you're looking at as favourable? Or anyone you fancy facing at WrestleMania? She's like, "Girl, obviously I would love to face any of those women. Whoever wins the Elimination Chamber is obviously quite rough and quite tough and very good. But they ain't the roughest, the toughest, or the best. And any one of those women in that match can catch this work." Oh god, I forgot about storylines. Thank god there's a segment here, but the segment might be shit as well.
You got me feeling diamond rich. Nothing on this planet compares to it. Don't you agree? Who needs to go to sleep when I got you next to me? All night I ride with you. I know you got my back, and you know I got you. So come on, lights out, follow the noise. Baby, keep on dancing like you ain't got a choice. So come on, come on, come on, let's get physical. Adrenaline keeps on.
AJ beat Sami in 17:51 with a Styles Clash to qualify for the Elimination Chamber, joining Keith Lee and Braun Strowman in that match. Sami gets a 76 and 83 for AJ Styles. Ugh. What did I rate this on? It couldn't have been mic work. It's just, all it is they hype up all night. We're going to hear from the new Universal Champion, Karrion Kross. And we see the elaborate entrance on SmackDown for the first time. And he's got the title around his waist. And he stands in there with like the red Karrion Kross lighting. And he says, "Doomsday has arrived. Everyone on SmackDown has been put on notice. I ran your former champion out of the company. And if you dare get in my way, you will also fall in line. Tick-tock, tick-tock." And the show goes off the air. It's going to be awful. It's not as bad as I thought it was going to be. But we do lose pop. But what matters more than the 75, of course, and the losing pop is what you thought of the show. So let me know what you thought in the comments below. And I'll see you next time for episode 103, which will be the second episode of Raw for the month of February. And a follow-on from what was one of the most eventful shows of the series so far. See you then.